Hey kids! Today is the third Sunday of Advent. Advent is a time of waiting, preparing, and remembering in the church calendar as we get ready to celebrate Christmas and Jesus' birth. In the first week of Advent, we talked about hope and how we can have hope because of the promises we know God has fulfilled. Hope draws our attention to waiting for Jesus, the waiting that we read all about in the Old Testament. Last week, we talked about peace and how Jesus is our Prince of Peace, that he cares about wholeness and wellness of all people and of our world, and we talked about the Hebrew word for peace, shalom. This week, we focus on joy. Joy is not the same thing as happiness, although sometimes we can confuse the two. Joy is an attitude that God's people adopt, not based on circumstance, but because of the hope that we have in God's love. I have some friends with me here this week to help share what joy means to them, but first I want to tell you a story from the Bible about joy. Before the angel came to Mary to tell her that she would have a child and give birth to this baby, an angel visited a couple. Their names were Elizabeth and Zachariah. They were people who loved God and did their very best to try to follow him and God's ways. They were also getting old and had never been able to have a child. Elizabeth was also Mary's cousin. An angel came to Zachariah and told him that his prayers had been answered, that Elizabeth would give birth to a child, that they would have a son, that they would name him John, and that he would bring many people back to God and prepare the way for the Messiah, the one that they had been waiting for. About 5 or 6 months later, the angel comes to Mary and tells Mary that she will give birth to a baby and that she will call him Jesus. The angel also tells Mary that her cousin Elizabeth is with child, that even in her old age, God has blessed her and made a way for them. The Bible tells us that Mary is so excited that she hurries to get ready and packs up and leaves to go see Elizabeth and Zachariah. When Elizabeth hears Mary's greeting, the baby in her womb leaps for joy. This baby John, who we know later grows up to become who we call John the Baptist, was sent to go before Jesus as a messenger for God's people. Even in the womb, he leaps for joy at the excitement of the coming one, of Jesus, who will fulfill all of our hopes and give us peace. And that this coming of Jesus brings us such great joy. Joy that is not dependent on what is happening around us. What does it look like to wait with joy? To notice the first small signs of what we are waiting for? To rejoice in even those small things? Joy isn't about ignoring sadness. We can feel sad and be full of sorrow and yet rejoice. We have joy because of our trust in Jesus. We trust that our loss, our sadness will not be the final word. When Jesus' birth was announced to the shepherds, the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is Christ the Lord."
Aubrey, what brings you joy? Cars, yeah.
When we sing a song about jingle bells, about the Christmas tree.
Jonas, what does that say?
Die to the well.
Can you show it to you?
Oh, nice. And what's your favorite Christmas song?
Die to the world.
Do you want to sing some of it for us?
Die to the well, the Lord has come. Let those receive who can.